I got a text message from a coach, and this high school coach had indicated to me in this text message, I mean, he wrote it so nicely about this young man. He was 6'2", 215 pounds, ran a 4.65 40. He bench pressed 350 pounds, squatted 450 pounds. This kid had 7,700 yards worth of passing and 91 touchdowns total in his career. He was number 3 or 4 all time in that particular state in the history books. This kid was a prototypical D1 quarterback. The coach goes on to tell me that the kid's already finished their senior year. His season's over with. They're not talking to any coaches. The kid's not being recruited. You know, that really perplexed me a little bit. So I called this coach and I asked the coach, I said, "Coach, tell me this. What's his grade point average?" And folks, you got to understand, I'm thinking as an old football coach and a guy that's been around the Southeastern Conference for a while and coached high school football, I'm thinking that's the number one question. That's the reason he's not being recruited, is maybe it's just the grades. That coach said on the phone to me, he said, "It's a 3.8, Coach Cagle." Well, folks, I'm a little perplexed. I mean, you got a smart kid here and a good football player. So now I'm thinking, it must be that ACT or that SAT test score that's keeping coaches from recruiting this kid. So I said, "Coach, what's his ACT score?" Without hesitation, that coach told me over the phone, "Coach, it's a 28. Now, for those of you watching this video today, you're thinking to yourself, how does a kid with those statistics, how does a kid with those academics and that test score get overlooked? Let's continue the story. So as we move on, I say, "Coach," as a joke to the coach, I simply said, "What, is this kid just ugly as homemade sin and he's scaring all the women and children on campus and nobody wants to recruit this kid?" And I kind of laughed. Inside of my humor, I upset the coach. And not upset mad. I could hear that there was tears and a little bit of sniffling on the end of that phone line. And here's what he said to me. He said, "Coach Cagle, what I didn't tell you about this kid is that not only do I coach him, he's my son." Folks, I don't care how good you are. The truth is, being good enough is not good enough. You have a high school coach that had coached him all these years. He was the father of the son and the player. And his son wasn't getting recruited. And I did ask him, I said, "Coach, have you not noticed that changes have come in the recruiting business? What were you thinking?" And he said, "We thought if we were good enough, everybody was going to find us." Moms and dads, I don't care what your sport is that your child plays. If your child wants to play in college, you might want to get a professional evaluation. Get somebody that's a scout on the ground that deals with coaches every day to talk to you about your child, because being good enough is not good enough. And for 36 years at National Scouting Report, what we've done is we've realized that it's the connection, it's the relationship, it's getting that kid with that talent and that skill set in front of the right coaches at the right time. So no matter what the sport, we sure would like to have an evaluation of your child.